Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Jaguar by Roland Smith, narrated by Johnny Heller.
Before. I walked into the den. Pinned up on the wall was a huge map of the Amazon basin in South America. On the floor were stacks of books, scientific journals, and my father, a field biologist named Robert Lanza, Ph.D., also known as Doc to his friends and to his only son. Doc sat in front of a laptop computer, staring intently at the screen. He didn't notice I was there. I was used to this. "What's going on?" I asked. He grunted and didn't look up. "What's with the map and stuff?" "Brazil, field project, preserve, jaguars," he mumbled. When my mom was alive, she called this kind of response Lanza Latin. It had been a while since I had heard this language. My mom's technique for dealing with it was to leave my father alone and wait for him to snap out of it. I left the room. I went into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. Inside was a carton of sour milk, a block of cheddar cheese with splotches of green fuzz colonizing it, and a new item, a half-empty jug of orange juice. My father must have decided to go on a health kick. I grabbed the OJ and rinsed out a cup from the sink, which we were using as a cupboard. Translating my father's mumbling was easy. He was looking at a field project that had something to do with a jaguar preserve in Brazil. The only thing that surprised me about this was the timing. We had only been back in the States for a few months, and the tan I got in Kenya hadn't totally faded yet. We had rented a small house in Poughkeepsie, New York, near my grandfather's retirement home. His name is Tawapu, but we call him Ta. He's a Hopi Indian who spent most of his life riveting steel girders together high above the streets of New York City. The plan was to stay in Poughkeepsie for at least a year while my father wrote up his research notes on elephants and got them published. It looked as if the plan might change, which was fine with me. Poughkeepsie was an okay city, and I liked the high school I was going to, but after my trip to Kenya, life was a little too tame for my liking. A trip to Brazil would be fantastic. I waited a couple of hours, then went back into the den. My father was on the phone talking to someone. When he saw me, he covered the mouthpiece. "Hey, Jake," he said. "I'm going to be hung up here for a while getting this together. I'll tell you all about it when I have it figured out." This was polite Lanza Latin for, "Get out of the den and don't bother me." I nodded and closed the door. I didn't see my father for several days, but he left signs that he was still alive. I'd get home from school and find human spoor, like pizza boxes and coffee grounds on the counter, and every once in a while I'd hear him talking on the phone behind the closed door. Late on the fourth night, he finally emerged from his den. I had just put away my homework and was getting ready to go to bed. "Hey, Jake," he said, "shouldn't you be in school?" "I don't go to night school, Doc." He wandered over to the window and opened the blind. Wow, I really lost track of time. That wasn't all he had lost track of. His long black hair hung down to his shoulders without the benefit of the usual ponytail, and he hadn't shaved for a week. I couldn't tell if he had changed his clothes because he always wore jeans and denim shirts. He had at least a dozen sets exactly alike. He turned back from the window. "You remember Bill Brewster?" "Sure." Bill was one of my father's oldest friends. They had spent a lot of time in the field together studying animals. I hadn't seen Bill since my mom's funeral. "Well, he's in Brazil now, and he's looking for someone to help him set up a jaguar preserve down there." "And that someone is you?" "Right." He paused. "I won't be gone long." I stared at him. He hadn't said...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.